call it?
We call it EPCOT.
Please stand clear of the doors.
EPCOT.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
EPCOT.
Welcome aboard the Walt Disney World monorail to Epcot. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the doors. For the comfort of others, no smoking, please. Smoking, please. Thank you. Thank you. We are traveling to Epcot.
Traveling to Epcot. To Epcot. To Epcot.
To Epcot.
EPCOT.
To Epcot. To Epcot.
Our goals for Epcot Center are quite clear. We want to first entertain, then inform and inspire all who come here, and above all, to instill in our guests a new sense of belief and pride in mankind's ability to shape a world that offers real hope to people everywhere in the world.
Experimental, prototype, community.
Good evening, my friends. Welcome to WDW Radio Live. I am Lou Mangello, and earlier today, I was thinking about tonight's show and prepping some of the visuals and whatnot. I realized today we have been together live almost every week for more than 16 years. I started doing live video when I lived back in New Jersey back in 2007. If you were here during the old Ustream days, let me know. And if you remember your Ustream username, right? This was pre-Facebook, pre-any social. We were on this little platform called Ustream, and I still remember the very first live broadcast I ever did. I went downstairs after dinner. I told my family, I was like, I'll be upstairs in 10 minutes. I'm going to try this live thing out. Nobody's going to watch. 4 hours later, my wife came downstairs. She's like, I hear you through the air conditioning vents. Who are you talking to? I'm like, I don't know. There's these people, and they're in this little box. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I have no idea. It was a few years later that the box was born and evolved into the clubhouse. And I thought about that, and I put a smile on my face and gratitude in my heart, as if I didn't have enough already to you and for you. So thank you for this. The podcast is the heart of what I do. It is you are the soul of this community. But man, I love the live video because, you know, when you put out a podcast, you put out a piece of content, you sit there like Lou Mangello in high school waiting for the phone to ring. I mean, it never did, or a girl to pick up. It doesn't really matter, but you understand the essence of what I'm trying to get through. But I love this real-time interaction. It fuels my fire, it fills my cup, and it excites me every single day. I had other plans for tonight's show. Things did not work out accordingly. It may or may not have been to the moving of the Disney Treasure announcement for today, but that's fine. It's okay. I've got something else planned for tonight. I've got something else planned for next week that I think you're really, really going to dig. Becky says, jump in the pool, Lou. I don't have a pool, Becky, but I would if I could, but I can't. But metaphorically, I am jumping into the pool. Ashley Grissom, the OG box people. Yeah, we call it OG now, but like I guess Ustream was sort of pre-OG. Zach Brown was redhead Brown from the box. Zach Brown, you weren't around. I mean, you weren't born probably yet when I was doing Ustream, were you? Zach was like 3 back in, and it's not that far from the truth. Zach was like 3 back in 2017. Do you know who is here? I don't think he was here back then, but ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome former Imagineer, Jungle Cruise skipper, and the most of all of my guests on the WDW Radio podcast, Kevin Lively, is the most recent. So Kevin, thank you very much for being here. We're going to talk about your segment and your interview as well. Maybe field some questions from some friends here in the box. I see again, there are a lot of familiar names, familiar faces, and familiar teeny tiny little avatars. Yeah, DJ Lou Spinham. That was a DJ Technoid Ricky Reed original, that EPCOT 360 mix. Ricky Reed, you are missed but not forgotten, brother. It's too bad we never got a chance to see each other in person. Laura says she's watching from her hospital room. Broke my hip on Saturday. I am so sorry. This is why I don't leave the confines and the comfort, the safety and security of my office and the nearby couch. It's just too dangerous of a world out there. By the way, feel better, Laura. Number 2, if you're watching live, please do me a favor, tag and invite a friend to watch along with us. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk about the upcoming Destination D23, what we know, what we think we know, what we sort of predict, and what we wish we know. No, what we wish will be announced at this year's Destination D. We'll talk a little bit maybe to and with and about. We can pretend that Kevin Lively's not here and talk about his, I really enjoyed, I'm going to pretend Kevin's not here. I really, really enjoyed my conversation with Kevin this week on show 742. Somebody asked me today, they're like, oh, what are you doing for your 750th anniversary? I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. What's 75? Is 75 gold, silver, platinum? I don't know. I have nothing planned for HO. I have nothing planned for next week. That's actually not true. I do have something planned I'm really excited for next week's show. I haven't recorded it yet, but I think I'm really excited for next week's show. Karen says, how do you find Ricky's music? Ricky's music is still available on SoundCloud. If you go to DJ Technoid Ricky Reed, you should be able to find all of his music there. I made sure I downloaded a copy of everything that he sent me, everything that I can find, just to make sure. I wanted to make sure that I had a copy. 75 is the aluminum, or as our friends in Down Under say, the aluminium anniversary. Kevin says 750 episodes sounds good for a goofy movie review. I don't know why I'm afraid. Because now that I've been reassured that there's no sort of emotional trauma that I'm going to have from the first Goofy movie, because it does not involve children going to college. Today we're counting basically day 2 of the empty house. I'm dealing with it. But maybe, you know what? Let's do this, Kevin. Let's put it to the people. If you would like to hear a Goofy movie review on a show or a Thursday sort of archive episode, since it's sort of from the archive-ish, let me know in the clubhouse. And I have a feeling Skipper Kevin Lively is volunteering himself to be part of that. Although I think he still wants to try and make me cry for some reason. I don't know why people get joy out of that. Becky, for 16 years, it's sort of been her mission in life, but it's fine. We love Becky too. Becky says diamond or platinum is 75. Karen says, what is SoundCloud? SoundCloud is it's a music streaming platform. I think it's free for the most part. You should be able to access most of it for free. So my son is local. He's going to a UCF locally, so he's only about 45 minutes away, which is nice. My daughter is in Pittsburgh. It's okay. We'll deal with that at a later time. So you could probably get the director, Kevin Lima, on to talk about it. Oh, now it seems like now I have to do a lot of research, which is fine because I dig me research. Kevin Lively, we will talk offline about a Goofy movie. I do have an upcoming... I'm not going to, I'm not going to watch it on a plane. That's a Becky move right there. That's an amateur move. I need to sit down, give a Goofy movie my full focus and attention in 5.12 surround sound. Not that it probably is in surround sound anyway, but I made sure I prepared for the hurricane, which didn't really hit. I have about 417 cases of Doritos downstairs that need to be eaten. So I will sit down with one or more of them and watch a Goofy movie. Ryan Block, it's nice to see you. I'm still afraid to say hi to you when I see you in the parks. I'm not sure if that's my fault, and if so, I am not a scary person. You should definitely, dude, come by, handshake, hug. You'll feel much better, I promise. And I'll probably even have a little. Wait a minute. Speaking of presents that I can give you, I mentioned it on the show this week. Watch Condor Man on the plane, and be that weird guy in the aisle seat. I'm always the weird guy in the aisle seat. I don't think I want to watch Condor Man. Although I've looked over sometimes across the aisle, and without getting too specific, I've seen people watching some really weird, not even borderline inappropriate, absolutely inappropriate content on a flight. There's children present. It's weird, dude. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Denise says, how is the weather? It's fine. It drizzled here. It was way north. My brother's a little bit more north. He had a little bit of rain. It was not a big deal. Sue Passauer from the aforementioned Mouse Fan Travel says, I love the Goofy movie too. And Max, again, I'm not ready for that yet. Kyle says, hello from South America. I know you probably can't say specifically where in South America, but I think that it's awesome. And I don't know why the technology still amazes me that people can watch and listen from around the world. I never look at stats. I don't really care about numbers, but when I do have to sometimes log into my dashboard, especially for the podcast, and I see people who listen, not just one dude, in Japan or Indonesia or Peru or Antarctica listening to the show. I think that is so cool and so wild. So Connor Brown says, my Destination D, Connor, you're jumping the head and you're jumping the shark. The handwich is coming back, baby. Listen, it would be, like many things, I think, a love letter to fans. Anyway, before I forget, speaking of, and I'm going to give this one away tonight. I don't know how to do it. Maybe if you do something amazing during the broadcast, like if you share it out, if you tag a friend, if you do something to help spread the word and literally knock my proverbial socks off, you too can win. This is the second one out of the box. The oohs and ahs from the audience are they're deafening here in the studio. This is the new WDW Radio. Let me take it out of its protective, beautiful, yet noisy cellophane wrapping. This is a WDW Radio brand new, hot off whatever press it is, keychain. It's soft and rubbery, and it's in 3D, so it's super cool. I just got these in the mail a couple of days ago. The first one is going out to the winner of this week's, I think, very easy, by the way, trivia contest. The second one will go to one of you tonight. I can read the ooh and ahs from the peanut gallery, and those of you watching live. These are actually really cool. I really, really like how these came out. There's a lot. I mean, they're really able to pick up the entire logo in super great detail. And I'll always keep some of these with me when I'm out and about in the parks, including I'll get to that later. We said we're going to talk about Destination D23. First things first, if you're going in person to Destination D23 next week, September 9th and 10th, at the Disney's Contemporary Resort Hotel and Convention Center extravaganza. Let me know, because I will be there as well. Would love to meet up. I'll bring some keychains, and I'll give you a keychain as well. But I thought we would talk a little bit about, let's sort of look ahead and talk about, because even if you can't go, they're live streaming, I think, everything on Saturday. So I have a feeling a lot of the good stuff is going to happen on Saturday. They want to get the word out literally as it happens, even if you can't be there in person. But let's take a look at our Destination D23 predictions. Let's talk first about what we do know. Then we'll talk about what we predict. I will look for your comments as well. And then we'll talk about some of the things that I wish that they do announce. I'm not holding out hope, but hope is a very powerful thing, so you never know. All right, let's get right into it. And what we do know is this is the official schedule for September 9th and 10th. Registration starts on Friday. So at 9:15, we'll get this celebration of parks, experiences, and products yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Josh D'Amaro is going to be there with some as yet unnamed special guests for a presentation looking at the future of Disney parks, including updates from around the world, some fun surprises along the way. I really think they're going to kick Destination D off with a bang. I think they are going to come right out of the gate with giving people what they want to hear, which is what is coming to the Disney parks, not just here in Walt Disney World, but around the world as well. I'll talk in the prediction section about what I think we're going to hear on Saturday. We're also going to get some updates about and from D23 from Marco Vargo, who I dig a lot. Then it's the early ears of Ub, Oswald, and Mickey with Archives Director Becky Klein, who I absolutely love and adore. She is not only just a wonderful person, but she is a font of knowledge of Disney history. And they're going to go back to the 20s and really the early years of Disney in a conversation where they're going to talk about Oswald and Mickey and legends like Ub Iwerks and Walt Disney. They're going to go 100 Years of Classics, some of the unforgettable stories. Ashley Eckstein, who, again, so much love in this room. She is an absolute, I'm making gestures with my hands like a treasure, as well as other voice actors like Brett Iwan, who's Mickey Mouse, Caitlin Robrock, who's Minnie, Disney legend Bill Farmer, who's Pluto and Goofy, for a table read of some iconic scenes spanning 100 years of Disney history. That just looks like an incredible amount of fun. Interesting and nice to see Nat Geo here. They're going to do Nat Geo Live, Secrets of the Whales. Not the whales in Vegas, but the whale families and the human parallels. And they're going to have a Nat Geo explorer and photographer, Brian Skerry, who's going to be there. Disney Cruise Line is celebrating 25 years of innovative design at sea, and they're going to look into the design and build of the cruise ships from the Imagineers who are currently working on the newest ship in the fleet, the Disney Treasure. This would have dovetailed very nicely with the live announcement that was supposed to happen earlier today, and the live. God, I had a good live broadcast scheduled for tonight. Oh, the things I wanted to show and talk to you about, but I can't. I know things, but I'm not allowed to share them. So they're going to talk about some of the intricacies that go into designing some of the spaces and complexities. We're going to talk about Earth's Mightiest Avengers, who are celebrating 60 years this year since they debuted back in 1963, the Avengers #1. What I love is that Marvel Comics editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski, who I've heard speak and met before at Comic-Con and MegaCon. He is awesome. He's a great presenter. He's going to talk about the history of the Avengers across the past 60 years and maybe what might be coming in the future. This is going to be a panel on what has come and what might be coming in the future. And then 100 years of innovation, magic in every medium. And here, Imagineers Daniel Joseph and Karen Hansen are going to talk about and look back on a century of innovations in storytelling through Disney and how they've been inspired by some of the innovations of yesterday and how they're going to innovate storytelling today and tomorrow. And because EPCOT is always in a state of becoming, they're going to take a deep look into the transformation of EPCOT, the new neighborhoods, the attractions and experience. They're going to talk about the collaboration between Imagineering, Walt Disney World Resort, and some details uncovered by the Marty Sklar archives and some of the inspirations that have guided the evolutions of Disney's first park without a castle. Dun, dun, dun. On Sunday, they're going to be the Walt Disney Studios Showcase. I'm really curious about, for a lot of reasons, upcoming projects from the Walt Disney Studios, not just because they normally save a lot of the big announcements for D23 Expo, which is next year. Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff going on with the writer's strike, so I'll be very curious to see what that's going to be like. We're going to have 100 years of Walt Disney Animation Studios, where we're going to see and talk about some of the favorite filmmaking memories from some folks from animation. The Global Ambassador Showdown. It is going to be a cage match. No, not exactly, but it's going to be, they're going to have Disney Parks ambassadors from around the world come in and learn about some of their home resorts in a friendly competition to see whose resort truly is the best of the best. I'm predicting a tie, but that's just me. Weird Disney is back again with Becky Klein and some of the additional Weird Disney moments in the Centennial edition of what has always been really a fan favorite of the Destination D event. Then we're going to go west with Walt, and again, not just Becky Klein, but Disney legend Don Hahn, who's also been a guest on the show before. And Don Hahn, you've also been responsible for one of my child's favorite moments. My son got to ride Rise of the Resistance during the media preview with you. He still talks about it to this day. They're going to talk about the history and sort of Walt's journey that would lead him to join his brother Roy in California, the establishment of the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studios, which is now the beginning of what is the Walt Disney Company. I am ridiculously excited that Stephen Vagnini, again, the crowd goes wild, is back with authors Kevin Kern to sort of go down the rabbit hole, talking about some amazing discoveries and connections and little known facts that they found in the archives that they say are going to change everything, at least some things, you thought you knew about the Disney universe. I have my curious face on. 100 Years of Creativity is a playful look at imagination, and again, two guys who I really admire and respect and are just really good people. Imagineers Diego Paris and Jason Grant are going to give a decade-by-decade look at some of the interesting and lighthearted moments of Disney creativity from the last 100 years. There's a fantastic finale and then a Disney Hollow Stream costume bash. No, I'm not going to be wearing the Ewok costume, or will I? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. So that's what we know. I have to tell you, I really, really like, I like Destination D a lot. It is smaller. It's a single room. It's a single track. It's much more intimate than D23 Expo, which is wonderfully overwhelming. I think this also really leans into primarily the theme park fans, the studio fans. I think a lot of what Destination D does is what I like to call a love letter, because I think that's what it was designed for. It's small by design, like me. It's small by design, and I really like the content delivery in this. It's very lighthearted. It's accessible no matter where your fandom lies, but it digs deep and it goes deep, and there are some really deep cuts. And in the past, we've seen things at Destination D that we've never seen anywhere else. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Now, all that being said, I also think that there's a lot of not just history, but mystery associated with this schedule. So I thought it would be fun. This is all meant to be fun. I know nothing. Let me be clear. I know nothing. I mean, I know things, but I'm not going to even reference them here because I'm not allowed to. But as far as Destination D is concerned, I know nothing. But here are some of the things that I predict that we may hear during these presentations. And if I can do this right, it should look like this. There you go. I'm a one-man band over here. A lot of things going on backstage. All right, so here are my kind of predictions of what we are going to hear. Nothing here is really, I think, wild or outlandish. These are sort of the things I think it's less predictions than almost expectations. I think in terms of Magic Kingdom, we're going to learn more about what had previously been talked about in sort of the blue sky phase at D23 Expo last year, which was the Coco, Encanto, and Village expansion over at Magic Kingdom. I think we'll get an opening date for Moana, Journey of Water. I very, very strongly lean into an October 1st date. I had an opportunity to experience it a couple of weeks ago during an Imagineering preview. I believe, have cast member previews started? I was told I couldn't share anything until cast member preview started, but the next day people were sharing things. I like to play by the rules. We can talk more about Moana Journey of Water at another time, but I think we'll get an official opening date. I believe the walls came down today. Maybe I have to go tomorrow and check it out after all. I wasn't going to because I'm very deep in momentum mode right now, but that's fine. I also think we're going to learn more about Communicore and Communicore Hall, a reveal date of when the Walt statue is going to be installed and unveiled, and I have to imagine dedicated. And I would be shocked. I say this every year, Mangello, one of these times, if you just keep saying it every year and at every single event, a reimagining of Imagination Pavilion. I predicted it years ago. I'm still holding on tightly to that. I really do think that it was planned for the 2020 Destination D event that obviously got postponed. I think that this is an announcement that they want to give and share here. I think they want to do it in Walt Disney World. I think they want to do it at Destination D. I think they want to do it for these fans. And I think now is the time. Now is the best time. Be it a time of joy or strife. Almost. I almost started singing because I still love that Sherman Brothers song so very much. I think I would be shocked and disappointed if there is not some sort of Imagination Pavilion update. The handwriting is on the wall. The post-show is a shell of what it was. You can see there hasn't been a ton really that's been happening in terms of maintenance and upkeep. That usually is very much an indicator of what is to come. I think we're also going to get a Dinoland announcement. I think for a variety of reasons, Disney is going to lean very heavily into making announcements of projects that maybe have been either in the blue sky phase, maybe they've been holding off announcing for one reason or another. I think we don't just want it. I think we need it. And I think Disney knows that. I think we as Disney fans need something to get excited about again in the parks. Moana has been great, but for one reason or another, there's been a lot of delays. There's been a lot of construction walls, but when you can see that bright light off in the distance and something to sort of look forward to, you get very excited. I'm not really going to touch most on the foreign parks really at all. I think we're going to get a lot of updates on some of the things that are happening over in Hong Kong, Disneyland, Paris, Shanghai, and Tokyo. But I think in Disneyland, and because Bob Iger mentioned it on the earnings call, I really think that we're going to learn more about this Avatar Experience project, the who, what, where, when, and how this is going to integrate into Disneyland. And I see a lot of you in the comments talking about places like Dinoland needing some help, needing some retheming, etc. I don't disagree. But this is also some of your comments are going to lead me into what I wanted to save in terms of really this is what I think we're going to hear, and I'm trying to not overpromise myself, right? I don't want to set expectations too high. I think that's why sometimes people walk out of places like D23 Expo and go, well, this is all great, but why didn't they talk about A, B, C, and D? Well, we set our own expectations that way. So I'm trying to temper them. If you keep them at a certain level and then they're exceeded, the crowd will go wild, as I think we will for a variety of reasons. Because, and Ashley Grissom, I agree with you, a lot of empty space, a lot of fences. We're going to go to what I sort of expect to be announced, to some of the things that I hope will be announced. Dare I say, dare, I wish these things get announced or at least acknowledged during Destination D23 next weekend. So here's my Destination D wish list. We talked about how there is this expansion of the area near and behind Big Thunder Mountain. There's literally an island there, which is undeveloped right now. If you use Google Earth and you look down, you can sort of see this area behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. They talked about it possibly having Coco and Encanto and Villains. What I would like to see is make that a Villains Island. Create this Villains destination that people have clamored for years, going back to Fire Mountain in Fantasyland, right? They wanted this sort of Villains Chernobog Mountain. They wanted a Villains Fifth Gate, which I'm sorry, I don't think is ever going to happen for a multitude of reasons. Wait, Dusty is here. Dusty Arthur. Dusty has been our Adventures by Disney guide on our WW Radio Adventures by Disney to Italy and Wyoming. I'm Dusty. The soreness is gone. The soreness from my hikes has dissipated thanks to aspirin and Aleve and Doritos. But you are an amazing Adventures by Disney guide and cast member. I told you this. You would make Walt proud. So thank you very much for being here. Also on my wish list is to have Dusty be our guide on our next Adventures by Disney. No pressure to you and or Becky from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, but we would love to have Dusty again because Dusty is awesome. Dusty made me cry. I made Dusty cry. It happens a lot on our ABDs, but it's all like they're good tears, not like, oh my God, I ran out of food tears, like good, happy, end of the adventure tears. All right. So instead of what I think might be this sort of weird amalgam of Coco and Encanto and Villains in this area, I would love to see a single Villains Island. You cross this bridge, you go through this threshold, and you have this sort of transformative experience to a Villains Island, which is obviously because it's a family park, right? It's not like a horror night type of thing, but it really sort of embraces the stories and characters and legacy and storytelling opportunities that I think a Villains themed area would bring into the park. I think it would be a huge monster, no pun intended, monstrous guest satisfier. I think it would be a huge attractor. And, you know, sometimes new attractions are opened that don't necessarily move the needle for guests that maybe aren't planning a Walt Disney World vacation. You know, maybe they're going to wait a couple of years. I think something with and about the Villains would be a tipping point for people to get people, instead of saying, let's wait till next year, say, no, let's go now. Let's go because Villains Island is opening now. I think over in EPCOT Center, we are finally, I want to take you back in time. Remember when Spaceship Earth closed because they were going to do a reimagining of Spaceship Earth, and then Spaceship Earth reopened again because the world shut down? I think we're finally going to get, it's not Project Gemini, which was sort of, you know, what was heralded many, many years ago, but I think we are going to get what I feel is sort of a needed reimagining of Spaceship Earth. Finish the descent. It's still, the descent still, I think we're going to get a major overhaul, like a major multi-year overhaul of Spaceship Earth. I also think that we're finally going to get a New World Showcase pavilion. I'm hesitant to say country because it might not be an individual country. I don't think it is going to be the huge expansion sort of expanding the lagoon and what was originally proposed to be the Australia area and adding additional hotels. If it happens, awesome. I think we know, and I didn't put this on here, we know Disney needs more beds. Walt Disney World needs more beds. They need more rooms. They need more capacity, especially if they're going to keep adding on. I would love to see something like in and around the EPCOT Center. I don't think that's what it's going to be, but I'm not going to name a specific country because we've heard Brazil for eons. Every year, the experts say, I know for a fact Brazil is coming. Brazil, Peru, we hear a lot of the same names over and over again. I don't know that it might not be a specific country. Maybe it's something like Millennium Village that we had in the past, which is now World Showplace. Maybe it's sort of this global marketplace of different cultures and cultural experiences and foods as well. Figment, and a little bit more Figment. I think a lot more Figment. I think that the roadmap for the past few years has been this slow, gradual introduction of Figment more and more into Epcot. He showed up a little bit here and there. Then all of a sudden he was more prominent. He was a topiary. Now he sort of quietly sidled his way into being the official mascot of the parks again. I think this is very, very intentional. I think, again, plans for Imagination have been on the drawing board for a long time. For one reason or another, they haven't come to fruition. I think with the updates to the Imagination Pavilion, we are going to see Figment play a more prominent role. And I'm going to plant my flag. This is it's dangerous territory, Mangello. I think the time has come for the Dreamfinder. Possibly some sort of different iteration of him. Maybe he doesn't look or sound or even dress the way he did back in 1983. But I think with this, not just return of Figment, and I don't just mean the character encounter that we know is coming, but I think Dreamfinder is going to come back. And Sharon says they could be the ambassadors for Epcot. I agree. I think Dreamfinder remains a beloved character. They've been able to do this very successfully in the past. Little Orange Bird, I'm looking at you. And, Dreamfinder is different. He brought a lot and brings a lot to the table, not just in terms of opportunity, but I think in terms of storytelling, in terms of a gift to the fans. And I think that's what Destination D23 is all about. This is a gift to fans. It's where announcements like this will not get lost among this cacophonous set of announcements at a D23 Expo. I don't get to use the word cacophonous very often, so I really try and throw it in as much as I can. But this is where Dreamfinder and Figment can and will get the attention, the love, and the appreciation that I think that they very, very much deserved. And in terms of live entertainment, we're still not back, not even close to 100% of where live entertainment was pre-COVID. And I'm not just talking about stage shows and full-blown productions, but Streetmosphere characters and walk-around characters and live entertainment, for one reason or another, is not back. And I think we are going to learn more, and maybe it's not going to happen now because this is relatively new, but more Duffy. And when I say Duffy, I don't mean Duffy the bear. I mean David Duffy. David Duffy was just announced he's coming over from Disneyland Paris, and where he was the vice president of live entertainment. That is going to be his role here at Walt Disney World. He did the 30th anniversary of Disneyland. He did Tale of the Lion King, Mickey's Mixed Magic, Frozen Live, the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, Star Wars grand opening. Like, he's done a lot there. And I will tell you, having just been in Disneyland Paris a few months ago, the live entertainment there is exceptionally good. I think that's why he was very intentionally and deliberately handpicked to come to Walt Disney World to reinvigorate and bring back and expand upon the legacy and the history of exceptional live entertainment. It has always been a fan favorite. It has been a personal favorite of mine. And I see people saying we desperately need more live entertainment. I absolutely agree 1,000%. I know personally a number of cast members who were friends with live entertainers that I would love to see back in any type of role, because they are gifted and talented, and there's a joy that live entertainment brings that I don't think any other medium, any other technology is able to do. Brett Rutherford said David Duffy is amazing. I've never met David Duffy, but obviously I have seen and appreciate his work. So hopefully we will see more live entertainment in the parks. Again, I love live entertainment. I love and appreciate live entertainers. And those of you who are in live entertainment in Florida, in the heat and the humidity and the oppressive baking of the sun out there with a smile on your face that is a gift to every single guest, know that you are loved and appreciated. So Becky says, bring on the drones, which is the complete opposite of live entertainment, but I don't disagree. I would love to see drone shows that are similar to the ones in Disneyland Paris, because they are exceptionally well done. I don't know if the American lawyers will allow that again, much like we saw in Disney Springs for the Christmas show about 5-6 years ago, somewhere around there. But, I think in a place like EPCOT, where you have the World Showcase Lagoon, I think you'd be able to have a drone show close enough to I understand the liability concerns. You get a gust of wind, something happened, a drone goes down, hits me in the head. I get it. But I think there's enough of a buffer that if something happens to a drone and it has to just drop in the water and not affect a guest, could you imagine a 360-degree drone show taking place over World Showcase Lagoon at night? The one, I showed it live. You can find my video on Facebook or YouTube, or I'm sure there's countless others, of the Avengers drone show in Walt Disney Studios Park at Disneyland Paris, and the drone show, and forgive me that I don't know the exact name, that I broadcast when I was there back in March, April, whatever it was. It is insanely good. It's not technology for technology's sake. It is a storytelling, literal and figurative vehicle. It is incredibly impressive. And I hope it does. I didn't put it on here, but I hope that it does come to the Disney parks. So those are that's what we know. Those are some of what I think we're going to see. And this is some of what I hope that we see coming to Destination D this weekend. I did not see, forgive me that I did not see who actually said they were going to be in attendance this weekend. But I would love to know who is going to be there. I would love to meet up at, I keep wanting to call it Expo, but at Destination D this weekend. So, Amber, possibly tomorrow. Amber, I'm trying to just quickly go through back to some of your comments. Drone show would be great at Animal Kingdom. Again, it would have to be sort of over water. You obviously have to keep it as far away from the animals as you could. Giovanni says, I'd volunteer to be a drone pilot. That's super cool. Sean McCall is going to be there. And Denise, no, I don't think that they would replace fireworks. I think that the drones, like in Disneyland Paris, are a complement to the fireworks. The show that they had on, around, and above the castle integrated all the elements. It was music, it was drones, it was lasers, it was projections, it was water effects. I mean, it was a treat for all of your senses, and an absolute, just visually stunning show that I promise you cannot be replicated on video. The only thing I didn't put on here, I think we sort of probably all think the same thing. I really hope and expect that the last thing we're going to get from and at Destination D23 is not just the villains contest, the costume contest, but an announcement of the dates for D23 Expo 2024. It's surprising to me, and maybe because they were waiting for this event to do it. It's mid-August. The event would be happening, I would think, around, if not, just about this time next year. We need to make plans. I need to reserve my hotel. I need to make flights. I need to start packing up stuff for the booth. But I think we're going to hear when D23 Expo is going to be coming for next year. So that's where I am. That's what I think is going to be happening next week. Again, you'll be able to watch, I believe, everything on Saturday live on the Disney Parks YouTube channel, as well as on their Facebook page as well. So let me just quickly catch if there are any questions. Yeah, other parks throughout the country are doing drone shows. I understand, understanding, Scott, that Disney is understandably very protective, very careful. Safety always comes first. And if they don't feel 150% that they can ensure guest and cast member safety, they won't do it. But it does sort of make sense that we would see some type of drone show coming, or at least maybe being announced for the future. And I think EPCOT, with the new show in production, it's just the one that, to me, kind of makes the most sense. Becky says, don't forget the announcement of the 45-day bus tour to hit all the places named in the on-the-road question. Was I not supposed to say that? Becky, I don't know if a 45-day bus tour was part of that. I don't think that the on-the-road responses were meant to be connected on a map like the Griswold. However, I am taking those suggestions very, very seriously. Would love to do some on-the-road events. Becky and I actually spoke the other day on the telephone. This is the telephone. It's a Zoom. It doesn't matter. We spoke on the virtual telephone the other day about some possible on-the-road events. We also talked about some non-the-road events in Walt Disney World. Maybe a little Disney Cruise Line action. Stay tuned. I will have news when I have news. I don't know when that's going to be. Sue Passauer says, I would get stuck in New Orleans with beignets. I would. I love New Orleans so much. The only thing I love more about the city of New Orleans is the people of New Orleans. See what I did there? I think I almost heard Sue Passauer go, aw. Maybe not, but in my mind, that's what I heard. And Terry Toman, I have never seen a Goofy movie. I know. I need to sort of hand in my Disney card. Michelle Lynn says, it's really exciting all around. It is my first time attending. Looking forward to all the exciting things they announce and hopefully my predictions. Listen, I am probably completely and wildly off base. I got my off from Sue Passauer. I'm sure I'm wildly off base, but it's what makes these events so very exciting is that we don't know. And hopefully there's something that comes completely out of left field that just knocks our socks off. Ashley says, if I love New Orleans, does that mean you're coming to Disneyland for Tiana's place? It's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that. Let me see if I can find what I am looking for here. Hold on one second. Because, wait, hold the phone. I'm going to wait. It does mean I love New Orleans because I love New Orleans. I also love New Orleans Square in Disneyland. And there's a lot that's happening there. I posted on the blog this week. I'm sure you saw the concept art for the expansion of New Orleans, sort of the reimagining of New Orleans Square, having elevator access for Disneyland, and expansion of the area that I think is going to integrate the Haunted Mansion location and theming into Tiana's Palace very, very well. San Francisco Square is opening now, tomorrow, I believe. There's a lot that's happening there. If only there was anybody that could go there and show us exactly what. I'm going there. I'm going to show you exactly what's going there. Next week, I will be live from Disneyland. I am going on Monday, September 4th. I will be there through September 6th. So our WDW Radio Live will take place live from Disneyland. I will not just be live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, but throughout those 3 days. Also check out my Instagram stories and reels. I'll be posting a lot there as well. I will try and see and do anything and everything that I can while I am there. Maybe, just maybe, even get a little bit of a sneak peek of Tiana's before it officially opens. We'll talk about some of the Halloween happenings in Disneyland. I will tell you, I love the way Disneyland does Halloween. Not sure if I'm going Oogie Boogie Bash, but I think Oogie Boogie Bash is done really, really well done. We went last year with Becky, really, really had a good time and appreciate a lot of how it's very different than Not So Scary here in World. There will be shawarma. There will be beignets. There will be all of the requisite foods that I need to try, including some of the fall favorites, and certainly anything that is new. I'm going to try it. And I love Big Hero 6. I've got a Big Hero 6 poster. You probably can't see it. It's right there. Can you see some other Big Hero 6? There's a Big Hero 6 Lego in here. There's a Big Hero 6 pin right back here, sitting next to Daredevil. I really like Big Hero 6, so I'm looking forward to the San Francisco updates and just some of the cool Halloween overlays that they have as well, including Guardians of the Galaxy and the Halloween overlay there. Cars Land is super cool, even not for during Oogie Boogie Bash. So I will be out there for you. I'm a giver. I'm wildly stressed about momentum, but that's okay because I need to go and see what is happening there. If only there was somebody that could talk more about Mater's. Wait, is it Mater's Junkyard Jamboree? There it is. Oh, that's on. I wasn't sure if Kevin Lively was. Kevin Lively worked on the Jamboree, and from what I understand, from a very recent, dare I say, fascinating and really well constructed interview, he talked about writing some of the music for the Jamboree as well. I think we talked a little bit about that on the show. I was just so fawning over and appreciative of Kevin being on the show. I hardly even heard what his answers were, but yeah, Kevin worked on the Jamboree. Becky says we wrote it a lot. John Lang, I did not make it to Rogers the Musical. I tried. I actually was going to go this week because I wanted to see it before it went away. I would not be surprised if they don't extend that. That's just me wishfully thinking. But Catherine Martin McLaughlin, I agree. Kevin is the best. I'm not going to tell him I said that, but he's a remarkably talented artist and creative. He's just all around a nice guy too, which just makes him so even more likable. So hopefully I can check out Rogers the Musical. I am bringing nothing but stretchy pants because I am on a quest. It's a quest for food. I'm going to eat everything that I can and share as much of it with you as I can. So yeah. And if you're out in Disneyland, I'll bring some of these with me as well. So let's see. First of all, as long as Kevin's here, does anybody have any questions that you want to? We'll do it live. Kevin, I put you and you, my friend, on the spot. If you have any questions for Kevin, now is the chance to get him. Get it while the going is good. So if there was a question that I didn't ask, wait a second. Stop. I mean, you can still think of your questions and post it. Ashley says, Hungry Bear, pumpkin, cheesecake, funnel cake. That's a lot of really good words smushed together in a single, somewhat complete sentence, which also sounds like what this Hungry Bear pumpkin, cheesecake, funnel cake could be. A lot of good stuff smushed. Smushed is a word. It's a thing. Smushed into a single food treat. I'll have to do that. If you have a list of things that I need to try when I go out to Disneyland, please post them in the clubhouse, and I will make sure I make a list, and I will check it twice or thrice to make sure. Kevin Lively says, I'm just here in the garage sweating and starting to painting. I also sweat in my garage. I don't paint. Becky says, if you need to find Lou, look at the Cozy Cone, the Chimichanga Cart, the Little Red Wagon, Shawarma Cart. Those are all true. And I am totally cool with that. I embrace who I am. I may have embraced who I am a little bit too much. I need a lot of very, very super stretchy clothes. So yeah, if you have any questions for Kevin, I could have talked to Kevin for hours. If he would have, if he didn't charge me by the minute, I could have talked to him. No, he was very generous with his time, and maybe we'll have to have Kevin on again. But if you have a question for Kevin, post it here. If we don't get to it tonight, you can post it in the clubhouse, and either Kevin will check it, or you can go to @Livelyland on Instagram. He is super active there, posts a lot of really cool stuff. And Skipper Kevin Art is where he has a lot of his art as well. Hannah Bird says, question for Kevin. What is your first favorite memory that comes to mind from your time with Disney? What is your first favorite memory that comes to mind from your time with Disney? Other than his recent appearance on the podcast, which I'm going to assume is just, yes, it's @Skipper Kevin Art. So Kevin, what is your favorite first memory that comes to mind from your time with Disney? Which I have to imagine, as I'm stalling for time for Kevin to answer because there's a delay, because he worked on so many incredible projects, it has to be hard to pick one. Or I can't imagine like being in Imagineering, the things that you see and what you're exposed to and the people that you get to meet and the other brilliant creatives that you work with that bring so much to the conversation and the table as well. Kevin says the Tokyo Jungle Cruise trip as a skipper was the first thing that came to mind. Kevin talked about that experience on the first time he had him on the show, which I think was 631, somewhere around there. And off on the side, the folks from table 125 on our last WDW cruise are planning a reunion, I'm assuming, in Walt Disney World. I'd love to be part of that, especially although I wasn't at that table, but especially if there was food available. Kevin also says another early crazy memory is Tony Baxter introducing me to Dick Sherman at the Opera House. Again, Kevin Lively dropping names like they're bad pennies. Tony Baxter and Dick Sherman. That's a nice day right there. That's a memorable day at the Opera House. Meeting either of those folks individually would be amazing enough, meeting them together. And from what I understand, I talked to Richard Sherman not too long ago, and Richard Sherman said one of his favorite memories was meeting Kevin Lively at the Opera House. So it's nice that the two of you have that in common. So, oh, you want to do a reunion on the ship? No, Becky, I think that they're coming to Walt Disney World because they said mini reunion next week. So I helped them find the phone number of an Italian restaurant. Well, at least they're putting your talents to good use. So Kyle says, when's the new Japan Pavilion restaurant live dining review coming? If only somebody, anybody, Kyle, you're in South America right now. So, but do you guys still like the dining reviews? Do you still enjoy hearing the dining reviews? Do you think that is the best way to convey what those dining experiences are? I am always looking, which is why I did that survey a couple of weeks ago. And thank you to everybody who participated in it. I'm always looking to find ways to improve the podcast, improve the community, improve the live broadcast. I want to make your experience as part of the family the best that it possibly can be. And as I've said in the past too, if you ever have an idea for a show that you'd either like me to do or that you feel you are an expert on, reach out to me, email me, lou@wwradio.com. Let me know. If you notice, everybody who's been a guest on the show started off for the most part as a listener to the show. Maybe not Kevin Lively. He was sort of forced into that first episode. But, so, I love having, people on who are passionate about certain topics. Not everything necessarily is conducive to the podcast, but I'm always open to listen. So I like it when the reviews include people from the clubhouse who are in town. I'm always down for that as well. People saying I liked. Okay, so if you like the reviews, that's good to know. Jennifer Bryant, my son and I love listening. Jennifer Bryant, what is your son's name and how old is he? And please tell him I said thank you for listening. I love the fact that you listen with your son and he listens with his mom. Like, it is why the show has been and always will be completely G-rated. I had to bleep out Skipper. Oh, Skipper Kevin, by the way. I don't want to spoil the show for anybody. In the history, the nearly 2-decade history of WDW Radio, I've only had to bleep out 2 people. Disney legend Alice Davis and Kevin Lively. I had to leave it in. I mean, I took out the potty mouth word and, did a little bleepy sound effect. But Kevin, you remain in the best of company. So that was. I hope I went back and edited it. I think I did. I'm 99% sure. I know one of these days I'm going to forget it and miss it. He says it was a darn. I was concerned that he was going to curse again, but he said it was a darn honor. And yes, Alice Davis was a classic. That was. From a fan perspective, it remains one of my all-time favorite moments and days that I've had as being able to do this. Jennifer says, it's Brennan. He's 9. He loves the pin that I gave him at EPCOT Oh, it just clicked. I know who he is. Jennifer and Brennan, it is good to see you. Thank you guys for being here. Hannah says, don't worry, Lou, you got the beep. Jim Morohosky says it is confirmed. Yeah, we had some technical issues that night and it was very stressful even trying to get the recording. Yeah, it was just one of those days, but it was absolutely worth it. Really just enjoyed my conversation with, I'm going to always call you Skipper Kevin. It's just sort of the thing that feels right and fits right. So there you go. Let me see. Any other questions for Kevin? Anything else you want to talk about before we go? Dave Bossert. Oh, Pamela Bart says Dave Bossert has a book out next month about the House of the Future. I'd love to be on. Yeah, I saw him today. I mean, not in person, but on the Facebook, signing hundreds of books about the House of the Future. Let me just say this as I tease, and I'm hopefully going to be able to make this happen. Keep the House of the Future in mind next week as I make a trip out to Disneyland. That's all I'm going to say. I'm trying to work something out, trying to make something happen. We'll see. By the way, Beatrice Dennis is here. Beatrice Dennis, if you're ever feeling down, bad about yourself, you're just having a bad day, go to Fantasyland and take off your sunglasses and look for the brightest light because it's coming from Beatrice. She is in costume in Fantasyland somewhere, probably near either a princess or a PhilharMagic. And she is just this, she's a supernova. She's a supernova of happiness and joy, unlike I have ever seen from anybody in the world. She is. She's just like the happiest person in the whole wide world. And that happiness is contagious. You can't help but sort of just be happy and giddy when you're around Beatrice. So it takes a lot of caffeine to keep that energy up. That's all I have to imagine. You just must be doing espresso shots all day long. You have a $700 a month Starbucks bill, but it's worth it because you are an absolute treasure. Speaking of treasure, I wasn't meaning to segue. I really had something planned tonight to talk about the treasure. I had an opportunity on Monday that I cannot speak about. I had this really cool thing that I wanted to show you tonight that I can't, because I'm going to be in Disneyland next week. I'm not going to be able to do it while I'm there. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to share what I've learned and share some of the things that you are going to learn on Wednesday. Don't forget, there is going to be a live broadcast unlocking the Disney treasure. I believe it's next Tuesday at 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. I don't remember what it's been rescheduled to. You absolutely want to watch and see what is going on. There is some really, really cool stuff that the treasure has. And I talked about some love letters to fans when we talked about Destination D23. I think some of that carries over to Disney Cruise Line. Becky says September 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern, which I believe, because I'm going to confirm, which I believe is Tuesday. It's Tuesday at 11 a.m. So maybe I can do something while I'm in Disneyland. We'll see. I'll try and figure something out. But I have another idea. It might not be live video, but I promise we're going to talk about stuff on the podcast, and there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. So stay tuned. But I won't be able to release the podcast on Monday, so look for the podcast coming out on Tuesday. Good? Good. I'm also going to try and get an archive episode up tomorrow. I might have to go out and do some things. I'm spinning a lot of plates all at once at the same time. One of which I mentioned earlier. Just want to give you a quick reminder. I still do have a few seats left for Momentum. And because I created Momentum because I really want to help other people like feel the way I do and do what I do and turn what you love into what you do. So just for you, like literally just for you, there's a new discount code. You can use code UNLOCK200 and save not $100, but $200 off your ticket to Momentum. You can take a screenshot, pass this along, go to LouMongello.com for more information. Also check out my Instagram stories today. I gave you a little peek behind the scenes at some of the Momentum prep, including the workbook that everybody who comes to Momentum everybody gets a workbook. Last year's workbook was about 164 pages. That alone is sort of worth the price of admission. It has templates, resources, mindset, planning, exercises, like not things just to do during the workshop and after the workshop, but really will sort of keep you busy for a year and really sort of help keep your momentum going. So again, visit LouMongello.com/momentum or reach out to me if you have any questions and forward that to anybody who you think might be interested, whether you are starting a business, you've got you're a content creator, you have a physical product, a brick and mortar store. If you are a solopreneur and entrepreneur, Momentum might be a good fit for you. So I think that is going to be it for this week. Angela Batista says Momentum is the best, in all caps. She's screaming it from the rooftops. We love Angela Batista. Also, by the way, a travel advisor from our friends. Look at the segue happening here. What? Wait. Come on. Oh, I can't find it. Wait a second. I can't find the logo. Oh my gosh. Look at this. I'm going to get to the segue right now. Angela Batista. I'm going to start all over again. Angela Batista, who is a travel advisor from our friends over. Stop it. Go away. Wait, that was the one. I told you, I do it all by myself. From our friends over at mousefantravel.com. Listen, whether you're coming to Destination D or Disneyland, or if you're trying to find out where Kevin Lively lives and want to go and visit him at his home studio, you can visit our friends over at Mousefan Travel. Fee-free vacation planning. It's true. I promise you. They will be able to help you plan an incredible, memorable experience, not just a vacation with the personal service. Listen, there's a million travel agents out there, but not the way that the agents from Mousefan Travel work for and with you. It's not just about the prices, but it's about personalizing your vacation and giving you an incredible level of personalized, exceptional service, which is what we've come to expect from Disney, and it follows through every one of the travel agents and advisors over at Mousefan Travel. It's why I use them. It's why I trust them. It's why I recommend them for 16 plus years. It's why I put up with it's why I love Becky and the agents from Mousefan Travel. Skipper Kevin Lively, thank you very much for being here on the show this week. Thank you for being here on the show tonight. To all of you who watched live, I appreciate you spending and sharing some of your Wednesday night with me. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to join us every Wednesday at 7:30. Turn on notifications. I am going to be live next week from Disneyland. I don't know from where, I don't know from when, but we're going to have some fun together virtually while we're out there. And Becky wants to remind you, the rates are at least the same as Disney, but proactively apply savings and get some of those benefits as well. So I promise you, you will have an amazing time. You will save not just on the dollars, but on the stress as well. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the gift of your friendship, the gift of your time, and creating this amazing, special, unique community and extended family that you have built here in the clubhouse. All I ask is that if you please help spread the word. When we're done tonight, do me a favor. Share a link to this or the podcast with a friend. Make a post on Facebook. Share it on Instagram or X and tag me at Lou Mangello. I'll follow you and I will reshare it back. The more that we are able to sort of organically help this community grow and continue to bring good people into this good community that you have built, the better. And if there's ever anything that I can do for you, if you have a suggestion for me, please reach out and let me know. Thank you again, DJ Technoid, Ricky Reed, for the mixes. I'm going to play another one to take us out. We'll go to Magic Kingdom this time. I love you. I appreciate you. So until next time, see ya.
Watch your step. Your attention, please. The Walt Disney World Railroad.
If you're a nation member, thank you. Sorry, I forgot.